All right. Well, thank you, Stan. I appreciate being here. And I have to say, Bobby is a hard act to follow. I do have a PowerPoint presentation that I want to share. Somehow it says screen sharing has failed to start. Please try again later. I don't know if you have to enable that for me. Because
Everyone should have that capability. I'm checking out
Okay.
what it it says for me that you have those capabilities.
All right, and I've been able to do that for quite a while. So let's just see if we can get this to work for you because it's kind of fun.
On my end, it says it's open. So
Okay. All right. Well, let's just try it and see what happens again. I had it all set up, so maybe it just.
there you go. There you
All
go.
right. All right. So we've got that part. So let's get the program on for you.
There
All
you
right. Can you see the first slide?
Yes, you are perfect.
All right, here we go. Technicalities, right? Well, I really want to thank you for inviting me here, and I am excited to talk about my favorite subject in the whole world, pets. Absolutely. And I want to introduce you to my two little angels. That's Oscar and Bella. And I've always loved animals. I've always spent a lot of time with them. We go on vacation together. But since the pandemic, we have been together pretty much 24/7. And I've enjoyed it. It's given me time to do things that I've always wanted to do, like, yeah, I did that. I dressed them up in little hats and I took a picture. And as you can see, they're not really thrilled, but I'm mom, so they allow it. And before you judge me, because I know we have pet people here, I want you to look at your pets. Do they look like this? Have you been going on like 6 walks a day? Or maybe you've become a little codependent. Well, let me tell you, if you've put on some weight during this quarantine, your dog is not a good diet partner. I'm just going to say that right up front. Or maybe you're getting this look, like, really, don't you have somewhere to go? If it seems like your pet is a little possessed lately because they become destructive, maybe tearing up their bedding, snarking at other pets, or just demanding attention 24/7, I don't believe they are possessed by an evil force. Now, it may be hard to believe if they just ate your couch, but I think what's going on is they're suffering from pandemic stress. And without realizing it, you might be making the matter worse. The bond is real. And our pets pick up on our energy. They sense how we're feeling. And right now, many people are off balance because of COVID. Maybe you're concerned about financial problems. Maybe you're worried about health and catching this disease. Or maybe you're just worried about what the future is going to bring. You know, there's a lot of uncertainty in our world. And our pets pick up on this, only they don't know that there's a global pandemic. You see, they don't read the paper or watch the news. They just know that something is wrong with mom and dad. And that causes them a great deal of concern, and it causes them to act up. Yes, our pets really do feel our stress. They take it in, and it lowers their coping abilities, which can lead to behavior problems. But the good news is it doesn't have to be this way. So this is me when I was about 4 or 5 with my little friend Marble. And I was lucky enough to grow up in a time when kids spent most of their time outdoors playing. We had no video games. We didn't have cable. I was just outside in the woods playing with the animals. And like most kids at that time, I loved animals. And then when I was 12, something happened that changed how I viewed them. It was June 9th, 1972, and it was 15 days before my birthday. It was also the night of one of the deadliest flash floods in US history. A cloudburst dropped 15 inches of rain high in the Black Hills, and it dropped it in under an hour. It caused Rapid Creek to overflow its banks, and a 50-foot wall of water roared down the canyon. It destroyed the community of Rapid City, and it scarred my soul. 252 friends and neighbors died that evening, and my family lost our home and everything we owned, and I lost all my pets. The next few days were a blur. Everyone was just trying to survive. I know the Red Cross came in and provided supplies for us. The city finally set up a mobile home park so people who had lost their homes would have a place to find shelter. And eventually we got moved in there, and I was safe, but I was still struggling. That night haunted me. I became depressed. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't eat. And then I received something, and my healing began. A tiny, adorable 8-week-old Siamese kitten that I named Orville Wright, because she was like most kittens, and she was always flying through the air and just bringing joy into my life. She gave me hope for a better future, and she was an important teacher in my life. Animals taught me how important they are to change our lives. They really do have the power to transform our lives. And from that moment, I knew I had to study them and be an advocate for them. And I did. I spent years learning from veterinarians and other pet experts. And today I want to share 3 tips with you on how to not only deepen the bond that you share with your pet, but how to help them deal with the stress that we all feel right now because of the pandemic. And it begins with a routine. Like most people, our pets thrive on routine. They feel safe when they know what's expected, and it can be frightening when that daily routine changes. So I ask you, has your routine changed? Are you working from home? Maybe not working, working overtime, sleeping in, staying up late. Our pets do better when they know what to expect, when we'll be home, when it's time to exercise, when it's time to eat, when it's time to sleep. If your routine has changed since COVID, make a new one. Not only is it going to help your pet, it's also going to help you. Now, as pet parents, it's our job to make sure our pets get enough exercise, and we need to find a way for that to happen. Otherwise, they will find their own way, like showing off in a cat gang like this fella is right here, and that only leads to trouble. So if you decide to go for a walk, there's some important tips to keep in mind. You want to walk in the coolest part of the day. It's summer, it's Las Vegas. The asphalt and the sidewalks get so hot they can burn your pet's paws. And too much exertion in this heat can actually lead to heat stroke. Practice social distancing. This is not the time to get together with all your other pet parent friends, hang out at the park in a group. There will be time for that later. But right now, this is a time for you to bond with your pet on these walks. And then when you return home, be sure that you wipe down their paws, tail, and nose. That's the area where they can pick up things and that they're most likely to lick. So you don't want them to ingest anything that could be harmful. Now, I admit some animals do not make great walking partners. So what can you do? A fun way to support your pet is by playing games. And cats can get into the action too. So you can have your kitty chase a laser or have the catfishing game where you have a toy on the end of a pole That gets them moving, and it's a great way to encourage that. They also have apps now that you can actually purchase to put down, and your cat will chase after them. But don't be surprised if they'd rather have the stick, because they are a cat after all. There he is, playing with the stick. So there's classic games for your dog too. And we all do them: catch, fetch. And if you're lucky enough to have a swimming pool and a dog that loves water, get them in the pool. Swimming is a great exercise, and it's a great way to release all that energy that's stored up inside them. Now, the final tip I want to give you is probably one of the most important, at least I feel it is, and that's to practice animal Reiki with your pet. Now, maybe you've heard of Reiki as a New Age healing system. And in my animal Reiki classes, I help people understand that Reiki is actually a Japanese system of living that promotes physical and spiritual wellness. So animal Reiki, in a nutshell, is meditating with your pets. And you might be asking, why would I want to meditate with my pet? Well, research has shown that consistent meditation reduces heart rate and blood pressure, it lowers stress hormones, and it can enhance your mental focus. Not only do we receive these benefits when we meditate with our pets, they do too. But there's some things you need to do as you meditate with your pet. First, you want to have a quiet, comfortable space for you and your pet to practice. Then all you have to do is focus on your breath by taking slow, deep breaths in and out through your nose. And as you're meditating, don't try to eliminate all thoughts, but as they come, don't hang on to them. Just kind of imagine it's a cloud, you see it, there's that thought, and it just drifts away. In my first class that I teach students, I teach them how to do a meditation where they imagine they're breathing in healing, universal energy in through their nose, and then as they exhale, they breathe that energy back out into the space around them and invite their pet to step into that. But before you begin to meditate, know this. Your pet always gets to decide if they want to participate or not. The second thing is you never force your pet to practice with you. This means no leashes or cages or holding them against their will. And then the third thing is the meditation session will probably look different than yours. Our pets tend to get up, move around the room, change positions. They may get up and get a drink. They may even fall asleep. These are all normal ways for a pet to join us in a meditation. And then how are you going to know if your pet is actually enjoying this experience? Well, if your pet is accepting the Reiki meditation, you can look for soft eyes, yawning, stretching. If they are not interested in it and they want to avoid it, they may appear agitated, they may pace around the room, or they could even leave the area. Now, whatever they decide is fine. You just continue your meditation and try it again the next day if they say no, because it's really not uncommon for a pet to not want to meditate one day and then the next day they do. Connecting with your pet doesn't just happen in formal meditation. It occurs when you're walking, playing games together, and just sharing affection. In other words, it's when you are in the moment with your pet. So don't get distracted. Don't be listening to music or talking on the phone. Just be with your pet. Now, if you're new to meditation, and even if you're not, you can have your very own meditation coach right on your phone. I've created a 20-minute guided meditation that you can download to your phone and practice with your pet whenever you want. You can also join me on for the Animal Reiki Meditation Circle that I host every Wednesday night at 6 o'clock on Zoom. And I'm going to put both of those links into the chat box for you. So now more than ever, we need to help our pets through this. Not only is it the right thing to do as a responsible pet parent, but as I learned a long time ago, when you help a pet, you help yourself.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Woo-hoo! As I say, let's give the applause here. Okay, opening it up for questions, but I'm going to jump in and do my little comment because I have a Doberman Pinscher.
Okay.
Who is, to be such a big dog and everybody's so, afraid of the Dobermans, as they say. She is the biggest baby out there, and since I was stuck at home, because I really was not at home a lot before, she has really tended to just come up and put her head in my lap and stare at me. Or just start whining. She was never a whiner before. I mean, literally, you would think most Dobermans would be growling and, she's just, yeah. So is this, I'm asking a personal question. Is this whining because I'm home?
Yes, probably. It's probably because there's been a change in the routine that she doesn't understand. And so your job is to kind of try to help her understand, even though we can't tell them there's this pandemic going on. It's very confusing for our pets right now because we are behaving so differently.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, she was, no, literally, she'll just sit there and whine, and I'm like, you have food, you have me, got water, treat you, but she will have just finished eating, she'll be, what I'm thinking, happy as, but then just sit there and, and I'm like, what?
And that's when, coming up with something new, a new routine that they can look forward to and incorporating that into the day can help a lot because now they have to they're just confused.
Okay.
Just like we are, really.
Yeah.
I have a question.
If questions, just turn on your mic and because I don't see all the pictures on my screen.
I have a question, but I think somebody said that before me, so.
Yeah. Okay. I have a question.
Go ahead.
Hi, I'm Rose.
Hi, Rose.
So I have 3 dogs, but one particular, we just got I'm been taking care of an infant. Mm-hmm. And she's now continually on me, excuse my language, flies on shit, my dog. And so from licking me all the time, even more than ever, wanting to sit next to me more than ever. And normally it's just playing. I walk with her as long as I take her out, she's fine. But it's starting to get annoying.
Mm-hmm. And the infant you're taking care of, I assume that's a people baby?
Yes. So okay. all of this specific dog, out of all 3 of our dogs, mm-hmm. This one I bottle fed, because the mom wouldn't take care of her. So like a baby, so this is the only one I've done that to. The other 2, not, we got them from a breeder.
And now you have another baby that you're taking care of. So there's probably some jealousy going on there because the other one was the little baby because you bottle fed it and took care of it like the mom. And now you have this other one. And so it's going through just like children, when you're the baby and then a new one comes along, you're not anymore. You have that adjustment period, right? So I think that your dog is trying to get your attention right now because it's feeling that, oh, here's somebody trying to take my place.
Yep. Okay, Denise, what's your question?
This may be more of a medical question, but fortunately I've been healthy through this whole pandemic, and My schedule hasn't changed that much because I was working from home originally. So as far as my dog schedule, it's still the same. But you know, one of my biggest worries is what if I get COVID-19? Because I live alone with my dog, so it's not like I can isolate myself in the room and someone else is going to take care of her. So what do you do with your pets, and can they actually get COVID-19? So should I board? I mean, if God forbid, if something like that happens, should I board her, or is she safe?
That's a great question. You know, there have been just 2 incidences that I have heard of pets contacting COVID-19, and the people were quite sick. One was in China, and there was one in the States. It's not something that the vets are seeing a lot of. I mean, really, it isn't. It's mostly if they have been living with someone.
I think they can get their own, I don't know if it's COVID-19, but pets can get coronavirus.
A lot of animals carry coronavirus, but it doesn't affect them quite like what's happening right now. So yes. So the thing is, first off, the one thing I wanted to point out, you said you were worried about it, which I totally understand because I live alone.
I mean, I don't have a reason to be worried, but I think, you know,
right,
it's not over with, so anybody could get COVID-19. So I wonder, what am I going to do with my dog if that happens?
And the best way to eliminate that worry, because your pets can pick up on that, so the best way to eliminate that is to make a plan. Do you have a friend who would take them?
No.
Okay, can you contact, you could check for boarding prices. I don't know that would be my first choice. I would see if you could get a hold of an animal rescue group, and if because they have a lot of volunteers who foster dogs, they bring them in their home, and see if someone would step up and say, I am willing to foster if you get sick. Because then they're in a home environment, they're not in a cage, it's less stressful for them.
Right.
And there's also people, you know, that pet sitters who actually bring them into their home. So there you have some options that you could explore, and I would do that now. So you have a plan in place. So if you get sick and you're not that if you get, you know, you have COVID-19 and you test positive, they immediately have to leave. But if you're so sick that, you know, you can't take care of them, then yes, you want a plan in place. And that is a great question. Thank you for asking that.
Yes. And thank you for everyone. If you have more questions, please pop them into the chat box. Make sure you get all of Jamie's information so you can contact her later. And thank you so much, Jamie, for being a speaker today on our Zoom-a-thon.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
All right.